Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram, Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Jaya Guru Nitai, Guru Nitai, Guru Nitai, Jaya Jaya Guru Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Jangdena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadama Kyam Dadati Supadantikam. I'm going to read from Canto 9, Chapter 10, entitled The Pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. In verse number 1, Shukdev Goswami said, Shukdev Goswami, of course, is preaching to Maharaj Parikshit. He said, the son of Maharaj Khatwanga was Dirghabahu. In the last chapter, Shukdev Goswami described this, all of the descendants, and he left off with Maharaj Khatwanga, Dirghabahu, and his son was the celebrated Maharaj Raghu. From Maharaj Raghu came Aja, and from Aja was born a great personality, Maharaj Dasharat. Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared with His expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in 4 forms as the sons of Maharaj Dasharat. So Prabhupada comments that these should not be mistaken as Jiva Tattva. They're Vishnu Tattva. Lord Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramchandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramchandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. So Prabhupada emphasizes here that because in the verse here it says, because you have heard, yes, these have been described by this great saintly persons who have seen the truth. So Valmiki and other compilations of Ramayana from ancient times, these were created by, he says, Rishibhis Tattvadarshibhi. Rishibhis Tattvadarshibhi. In the verse it says, by Rishis and by the Tattvadarshis. So Prabhupada quotes that you don't just understand about about Ramchandra ji through mundane PhDs or researchers. He says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sriya upadekshanti te jnaninas tattadarshibi. Tattadarshana. Same word. Rishibhis, tattadarshibi. So by the tattadarshanas. That way you have to understand. So again, Maharaj Shukdev Goswami continues to keep the promise of his father. This set of verses, or this long verse, is actually is a summary of the entire chapter. So it's a summary of the summary. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramchandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, the king of the monkeys, or by Sugriva, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshman, both of whom gave him relief from the fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Shurparnaka, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean. He then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord Ramchandra give us all protection. So now starts the summary. In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishwamitra, Lord Ramchandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramchandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshman, be kind enough to give us protection. So, again, the summary, because we all know the story. Vishwamitra came and requested to Dasharat, please give me your sons so that I can protect the yajna. Yajna means needs protection. Rakshasas will always attack the brahmanas and the yajnas. Hiranyakashipu, he specifically told all of his demons, his armies, I want you to attack the brahmins, the cows, and the yajna. Disrupt the yajnas. So this is the yajna is at the heart of Vedic civilization, of Vaishnava, Vedanta, of our Sankirtan movement, yajna. So rakshasas, demons, uncivilized men, here it says, uncivilized men, they want to disrupt the Sankirtan yajna also. So Ramchandra and Lakshman helped Vishwamitra kill all these rakshasas. O king, the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband, in the midst of the heroes of this world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men. But Lord Ramchandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugar cane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita, who was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, and nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune, who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sita's home, after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Ramchandra met Parashuram. Although Parashuram was very proud, having gotten rid of the royal order of rid of the Kshatriyas, the royal order, 21 times, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of that royal order. So this is, again, he was helping Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra suggested that let's go to this Swayambar, yes. Swayambar for Sita Devi, and so they went. Vishwamitra also gave Lord Ramchandra some weapons, special weapons. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Ramchandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life and went to the forest with Sita. Prabhupada explains, Maharaj Dasharat had 3 wives. One of them, Kaikeyi, served him very pleasingly, and he therefore wanted to give her benediction. Kaikeyi, however, said that she would ask for the benediction when it was necessary. At the time of coronation of Prince Ramchandra, Kaikeyi requested her husband to enthrone her son Bharat and send Ramchandra to the forest. So Maharaj Dasarat, being bound by his promise, ordered Ramchandra to go to the forest. So the Lord obediently accepted the order. He left everything, but then, of course, Maharaj Dasarat was extremely depressed and dejected, and he died shortly thereafter. So Kaikeyi, she herself was not necessarily an evil person, we'll discover later. But her maidservant, Mantra, she convinced Kaikeyi. While wandering in the forest, where he accepted a life of hardship, carrying his invincible bow and arrow, bow and arrows in his hand, Lord Ramchandra deformed Ravana's sister, who was polluted with lusty desires, by cutting off her nose and ears. He also killed her 14,000 Rakshasa friends, headed by Katha, Tashira, and Dushana. So this Surparnaka, she saw Lord Ram, so she was attracted. Lord Ramchandra is very enticing, very attractive. So then she changed herself because she was ugly. So she changed herself into a beautiful woman. She approached Lord Ramchandra. Because in those days also, a woman could approach the king and request to be united with the king. But Ramchandra refused. He says, Ekapatni Vrata. So I've taken a vow, Ekapatni, one wife. So she was being rejected, she was very angry. In English, we have a saying, a woman scorned hath no fury, means that a woman scorned means that a woman who is rejected or who is insulted hath no fury, means There's no fury, no anger equal to such a woman. So we all know the story. Again, she went to her brother. And this was after 14,000 of Prabhu says of her friends being killed. So she went to her brother and complained, look, my nose and ears are cut off by this beautiful man, horrible, by Lakshman. So then she went on, and he just preferred this beautiful woman. And she started to describe Sita, Mother Sita, Sita Devi. So then Ravana, he didn't care. You have your nose, your ears. He doesn't care. He says, what, this beautiful lady? Yes? Tell me more about this. Oh, King Parikshit, when Ravana, who had 10 heads on his shoulders, heard about the beautiful and attractive features of Sita, his mind was agitated in lusty desires, and he went to kidnap her. To distract Lord Ramchandra from his ashram, Ravana sent Maricha in the form of a golden deer. And when Lord Ramchandra saw that wonderful deer, he left his residence and followed it. Finally killed it with a sharp arrow, just as Lord Shiva killed Daksha. So Maricha, he didn't want to go. Ravana made him go. When Ramchandra entered the forest, of course we know that Maricha, he called out, Sita, help. So when Ramchandra entered the forest and Lakshman was also absent, the worst of the Rakshasas, Ravana, kidnapped Sita Devi, the daughter of King 𝐂𝐌𝐍, just as a tiger seizes an unprotected sheep when the shepherd is absent. Then Lord Ramchandra wandered into the forest with his brother Lakshman, as if very much distressed due to the separation from his wife. Thus, he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to women. So Prabhupada explains that in this verse, the words Stri Sanginam Gating Ati indicate that the condition of a person attached to women was shown by the Lord himself. Of course, we must remember that these pastimes, these leelas of Vishnu, Krishna, these are dramas. So sometimes we get absorbed in the drama and we begin to hate Ravana. Ravana. And this person, Shurparnaka. And but sometimes that happens also in a drama. The drama is being conducted, so people have their ordinary lives. They're not really the protagonist or antagonist. That means they're not the hero or the evil person, but in real life, but they're playing the drama, they're playing the part. So all these personalities, they came with Lord Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna. All of these personalities, they came to perform this drama. And not exactly for us, but for their own pleasure, for the pleasure of Sri Krishna, Sri Vishnu, Lord Ram. He has all of these pastimes for his own pleasure. But when we hear them, we can enter into these pastimes. In Bhagavatam it says, Kichit Kivlaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana. Vasudeva Parayana means to be completely absorbed. Parayana means to be completely fixed or absorbed in Vasudeva, or here Ramchandra Parayana, to be completely absorbed in the pastimes of Lord Ram. Then we get to enjoy as well. We can enjoy these pastimes just like an audience might enjoy it, similar to an audience enjoying a drama. But what's the difference? That we're drawn into the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. Wonderful. So in this case, Lord Ramchandra, Prabhupada explains, Lord Ramchandra is enticed to do this thing at the bidding of Sita Devi, as if he were attached like an ordinary man who's enticed to do something for a woman. Excuse me. So now the demons of the world are exploiting everything. So they're expressing a kind of female mentality, because women need to have some shelter. They need to be protected. They're raising children, so family needs to have something, house, land, animals, farming, all these kinds of expansion. Sthiti means expansion. So this is natural. And who provides these things? Usually it's men, and they go and they find some house, some land. Then maybe somebody comes, they attack, so it has to be protected. So there's this martial class, kshatriya, some soldiers. All this has to be organized. So huge society results. But modern society, demonic society, they don't want to organize society on the basis of varna, ashrama, and yajna to Vishnu, to Krishna. They want to organize society based on this attraction between men and women. So they keep on taking more and more, starting off maybe taking something. We'll find out exactly how this is working. They're starting out maybe with little innocent idea that, well, we have to do the bidding of women. They say that now we need to have a house or some land, but then they carry it too far. They become like women and try to conquer the whole world. So the men are becoming like women. They're becoming crazy. They're destroying everything. But the women are very innocent. We'll find later that Ravana's wives, they're very innocent. And they knew that Ravana was demonic, that he was getting carried away. So although the nature of the women is to encourage their husband to get something, when the husband goes out of control, the women know, because they are also naturally innocent and naturally devoted to the Supreme. So they know. All the wives knew that Ravana was a demon. So they said, yes, we knew you got carried away. So everyone has to have intelligence. Intelligence doesn't mean IQ. Intelligence doesn't mean getting into IIT. Intelligence means the ability to discriminate. Buddhi means ability to discriminate between spiritual and material, between Maya and Krishna. So quite often, women have that innocence. They have natural intelligence to discriminate between Maya and Krishna. So the men should not forget to use their intelligence also. In House of Life, there are some requirements, certainly, for house, for some land, something, animals, whatever has to be acquired to maintain family. But there are limits. Ishavāsimidang sarvam. There are limits. We have to stay within our limits. And the demons, they go completely outside these limitations. So we all have to maintain discrimination between Maya and Krishna. And this is a wonderful story. Although this is a story that's just for the enjoyment of Vishnu, Lord Ram, and we can also enjoy, we get also this, we can understand these values, these ideas, how to behave. Oh, all-pervading Supreme Person, we are dull-minded and did not understand who you are. Sorry, I skipped. So, Lord Ramchandra, this is where so now Sita Devi was kidnapped by Ravana. So Lord Ramchandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, had assumed the form of a human being. Thus, he performed the funeral ceremony of Jatayu, who was killed by Ravana. So you remember, Ravana was running away with Sita. Jatayu tried to capture them or follow, and Ravana cut off his wing. So then he died in the arms of Lord Ramchandra. The Lord then killed the demon named Kubandha, and after making friends with the monkey chiefs, killing Bali, and arranging for the deliverance of Mother Sita, he went to the beach of the ocean. After reaching the beach, Lord Ramchandra fasted for 3 days, awaiting the arrival of the ocean personified. So he was, by his fasting, he was calling the ocean. But when the ocean did not come, the Lord exhibited his pastimes of anger. And simply by his glancing over the ocean, all the living entities within it, including the crocodiles and sharks, were agitated by fear. Then the personified ocean fearfully approached Lord Ramchandra, taking all paraphernalia to worship him. Falling at the Lord's lotus feet, the personified ocean spoke as follows: O all-pervading Supreme Person, we are dull-minded and did not understand who you are, but now we understand that you are the Supreme Person, the Master of the entire universe, the unchanging and original personality of Godhead. The demigods are infatuated with the modes of goodness, the Prajapatis with the mode of passion, and the Lord of ghosts with the mode of ignorance. But you are the master of all these qualities. My Lord, you may use my water as you like. I just want to mention that devotees see that everything has life, everything has a spirit soul. This tree, these flowers, these bushes, all animals, all dogs in the street, they have soul. And all personality, everywhere there's personality. So the personality of the ocean came, or Bhumi is personality. Ganga is personality. So personalities are everywhere, and souls are everywhere. But materialists have no idea. They think first everything comes from shunya. Somehow everything is manifest from shunya, from nothing, by accident. It comes by accident. This is a fact. It seems amazing that they should believe such a thing, but this is a fact. This is what they believe. They believe only what they see in front of their eyes and nothing beyond. So when they see nothing beyond, they say, okay, nothing is beyond, must be shunya. This is a crazy idea, a crazy interpretation. So devotees see personality and soul everywhere. Devatas, the supreme personality of Godhead. Deva Deva, Lord Ramchandra. My Lord, you may use my water as you like. Indeed, you may cross it and go to the abode of Ravana, who is the great source of disturbance and crying for the three worlds. He is the son of Vishwabha, but is condemned like urine. Please go and kill him and thus regain your wife, Sita Devi. O great hero, although my water presents no impediments to your going to Lanka, please construct a bridge over it to spread your transcendental fame. Upon seeing this wonderfully uncommon deed of your lordship, all the great heroes and kings in the future will glorify you. So she says, she's starting to say, she's starting to give a little, she says, he is nothing, what is that? Ravana, who is a source of discernment of the three worlds, son of Vishnu, but is condemned like urine. So Prabhupada explains, he's condemned like urine. So he is the son of Vishwava. So Vishwava, I don't know, but maybe he's an honorable man. Rishi, sage. So, but Ramana is condemned like urine. So that means that Prabhupada explains that normally the child comes from semen. But this is a great insult that Ravana doesn't come from semen, he comes from urine. So later there's more insults. I like these insults. When it comes in Bhagavatam, and they use insults just like we use. In modern days also, we have many insults that we use. Sometimes we don't like someone, we use some insult. So Shukadeva Goswami said, after constructing a bridge, so this gives the story even more depth. These kinds of, there are many praises of Ramchandra, and then there's also insult. So one side, happiness, another side, oh, lamentation. Then everything is peaceful, and then, oh, war and catastrophe, and then resolving everything, and then beautiful speech, and then insult. Such a nice... Shukadeva Goswami said, after constructing a bridge over the ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains, whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of the great monkeys, Lord Ramchandra went to Lanka to release Sita Devi from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhishana, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers, headed by Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom Lanka, which had previously been burnt by Hanuman. Remember, he had his tail on fire and he burned Lanka. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by the chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. When Ravana, the master of the Rakshasas, saw the disturbances created by the monkey soldiers, he called for Nikumba, Nikumba, Kumbha, Dhumraksha, Durmukha, Surantaka, Narantaka, and other Rakshasas, and also his son Indrajit. Thereafter he called for Prahasta, Atikaya, Vikampana, and finally Kumbhakarna. Then he induced all his followers to fight against the enemies. Lord Ramchandra, surrounded by Lakshman and monkey soldiers like Sugriva, Hanuman, Chandramada, Gandhamada, Nila, Angada, Jambavan, and Panasa, attacked the soldiers of the Rakshasas, who were fully equipped with various invincible weapons, like swords, lances, bows, prasas, rishtis, shakti arrows, khadgas, and tumaras. Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramchandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs, and arrows. Thus the soldiers of Ramchandra killed Ravana's soldiers, who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. So now we get some idea of this fury of the woman. So simply by the curse of Sita, Ramchandra, Prabhupada explains that all of the Hare Krishna. Nitai Gauranga. Prabhupada explains that the monkey army just had primitive weapons like trees and mountain peaks. But the soldiers of Ravana, they had very sophisticated weapons, even like modern weapons, very advanced weapons. But they were cursed by Sita. Ravana was cursed by the anger of Mother Sita. So they were defeated. Therefore, when Ravana, the king of the Rakshasas, observed that his soldiers had been lost, he was extremely angry. Thus he mounted on his airplane, which was decorated with flowers, and proceeded toward Lord Ramchandra, who sat on the effulgent chariot brought by Matili, the chariot driver of Indra. Then Ravana struck Lord Ramchandra with sharp arrows. Lord Ramchandra said to Ravana, now here we go, insults. Listen to this, is good, I like this. You are the most abominable of the man-eaters. Indeed, you are like their stool. You resemble a dog, whereas a dog steals eatables from the kitchen in the absence of the householder. In my absence, you kidnapped my wife, Sita Devi. Therefore, as Ramchandra punishes sinful men, I shall also punish you. You are most abominable, sinful, and shameless. Today, therefore, I, whose attempt never fails, shall punish you. So I like this. You resemble a dog. The one word I know in curse word I know in Hindi is, what do you say? Kutta. What's it? Kutta. Sometimes you say kutta. Is that true? So,
Twin Prabhu, can you come and sound? Can you take care of sound here?
So I'm authorized. I can say this curse here on Vyasa-san because here Ramchandra said to Ravana, you resemble a dog. So I can say that because in Bhagavatam it says, yeah, So very interesting language. Of course, very lofty. This is in Sanskrit language, but we can also understand the drama. After thus rebuking Ravana, Lord Ramchandra fixed an arrow to his bow, aimed it at Ravana, and released the arrow, which pierced Ravana's heart like a thunderbolt. Upon seeing this, Ravana's followers raised a tumultuous sound, crying, "Alas, alas, what has happened? What has happened?" As Ravana, vomiting blood from his 10 mouths, fell from his airplane, just like a pious man falls to earth from the heavenly planets when the results of his pious activities are exhausted. And Prabhupada quotes, "Kshine punye martyalokang vishanti," from Bhagavad Gita. Thereafter, all the women whose husbands had fallen in the battle, headed by Mandodari, the wife of Ravana, came out of Lanka, continuously crying. They approached the dead bodies of Ravana, kicking their breasts in affliction because their husbands had been killed by the arrows of Lakshman. The women embraced their respective husbands and cried piteously in voices appealing to everyone. "O my Lord, O Master, you epitomize trouble for others." So here, this Mandodari is a distraction. Can't you just leave it? "O my Lord, O Master, you epitomize trouble for others." This is Mandodari talking about Ravana. She knows. She is intelligent. And therefore you are called Ravana. But now that you have been defeated, we also are defeated. For without you, the state of Lanka has been conquered by the enemy. To whom will it go for shelter? So practical. They're practical. So they need kingdom. They need shelter. So Ravana, he should have provided shelter. But then he became lusty. He went after Sita. He stole Sita from Lord Ramchandra. So just like these modern people, they have some responsibility. But what do? They go and steal the Shakti from Shaktiman. All this is Shakti. All the oil they take from the earth, all of the everything. Shakti and Shaktiman. They're ignoring Shaktiman. So these men are like small Ravanas. "Oh, greatly fortunate you come." This is again Mandodari talking to Ravana. "Oh, greatly fortunate one." He was fortunate. Ravana was born of a sage and he was a king, so he was fortunate. Just like all these Europeans and Americans, somehow they're fortunate. They have something. In the United States it has a lot of natural resources. With Alaska, it's 3 times the size of India and 1/3 the population. So you can imagine, only 1/3 of the population. So they have so much land among the people and everything. They have rice, they have gold, they have oil, they have everything. But they act just like little Ravana, taking the Shakti and ignoring the Shaktiman. "Oh, greatly fortunate one, you came under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now, because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramchandra. O pleasure of the Rakshasa dynasty, because of you, the state of Lanka, and also we ourselves have no protector. By your deeds, you have made your body fit to be eaten by vultures, and your soul will go to hell. Very wise, this Mandodari. So don't think that men are more intelligent than women. Men can be intelligent when they know how to discriminate between Maya and Krishna. So you are intelligent. But all these men put together, they have not as much intelligence as these women. They also know how to discriminate between Maya and Krishna. Sri Shukdeva Goswami said, Vibhishana, the pious brother of Ravana and devotee of Lord Ramchandra, received approval from Lord Ramchandra, the king of Goshala. Then he performed the prescribed funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path to hell. Prabhupada explains in the purport that Ravana was going to hell, but with this proper funeral ceremony, perhaps at least his family would be saved. Thereafter, Lord Ramchandra found Sita Devi sitting in a small cottage beneath a tree named Shingshapa in a forest of Ashok trees. She was lean and thin, being aggrieved because of separation from him. Seeing his wife in that condition, Lord Ramchandra was very compassionate. When Ramchandra came before her, she was exceedingly happy to see her husband, and her lotus-like mouth showed her joy. After giving Vibhishana the power to rule the Rakshasa population of Lanka for the duration of 1 kalpa, Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, placed Sita Devi on an airplane decorated with flowers and then got on the plane himself. The period for his living in the forest having ended, the Lord returned to Ayodhya, accompanied by Hanuman, Sugriva, and his brother Lakshman. When Lord Ramchandra returned to his capital Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by the princely order, who showered his body with beautiful, fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in great jubilation. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramchandra heard that in his absence, his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of kusha. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. When Lord Bharat understood that Lord Ramchandra was returning to the capital Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramchandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigram. Lord Bharat was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned brahmanas loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden rope. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants bearing betel nut, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharat, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramchandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. After offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramchandra, Lord Bharat stood with folded hands, his eyes full of tears, and Lord Ramchandra bathed Bharat with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshman, Lord Ramchandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the learned brahmanas and elderly persons in the family. And all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper cloths, and danced in great jubilation. O king, Lord, O king, meaning Shukadeva Goswami is saying, O king, to Parikshit. O king, Lord Bharat carried Lord Ramchandra's wooden shoes. Sugriva and Vibhushana carried a whisk and an excellent fan. Hanuman carried a white umbrella. Shatrughna carried a bow and 2 quivers, and Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angada carried a sword, and Jambavan, king of the rikshas, carried a golden shield. O King Parikshit, as the Lord sat on his airplane of flowers with women offering him prayers and reciters chanting about his characteristics, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his brother Bharat, Lord Ramchandra entered the city of Ayodhya in the midst of a festival. When he entered the palace, he offered obeisances to all the mothers, including Kaikeyi, who had caused him so much disturbance. He offered obeisances. And the other wives of Maharaj Dasharat, and especially his own mother, Goshala. He also offered obeisance to the spiritual preceptors, such as Vishishta. Friends of his own age and younger friends worshipped him, and he returned their respectful obeisances, as did Lakshman and Mother Sita. In this way, they all entered the palace. Upon seeing their sons, the mothers of Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna immediately rose, like unconscious bodies returning to consciousness. Just imagine. For so many years they were depressed, and now they came out of their depression. For so many years they were like in coma, not hardly even living. Upon seeing their sons, the mother of Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna immediately arose like unconscious bodies, returning to consciousness. The mothers placed their sons on their laps and bathed them with tears, thus relieving themselves of the grief of long separation. The family priest or spiritual master, Vishishta, had Lord Ramchandra cleanly shaved, freeing him from his matted locks of hair. Then, with the cooperation of the elderly members of the family, he performed the bathing ceremony, or Abhishek, for Lord Ramchandra with the water of the 4 seas and with other substances, just as it was performed for King Indra. Lord Ramchandra, fully bathed and his head clean shaven, dressed himself very nicely and was decorated with the garland and ornaments. Thus he shone brightly, surrounded by his brothers and wife, who were similarly dressed and ornamented. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharat, Lord Ramchandra then accepted the throne of state. He cared for the citizens exactly like a father, and the citizens, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of varna and ashrama, accepted him as their father. So this is a little description of Ram Rajya. Modern interpretation of Ram Rajya is Prabhupada comments that it's not at all like this description here. I don't have time to go into it, but the Ram Rajya that politicians and people speak about today is nothing like this Ram Rajya. They want Ram Rajya actually without Ram. Maybe they speak about Ram, but in actuality, I saw on the internet description of Ram Rajya, maybe only one description, but it says Loktantra. So what is that? Here it says Varnashram, and of course we know, headed by Ram Ramchandra. But what is Lok Tantra? Headed by Lok. Pagal Lok. Prabhu said, no? Demon crazy. Lord Ramchandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. I have only to go, it's 51, I'm going to 54. I went overtime a little bit, but excuse me, I'm just finishing now. Lord Ramchandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of good government, his age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. So Treta Yuga became Satya Yuga. In his purport, Prabhupada says that Kaler Dosha Nidhe Rajan, so Kirtanad Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Parang Brajit. So in this age of Kali, by Sankirtan, he says that Hare Krishna mantra, his life will be successful. If people take to this Sankirtan movement of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, they will certainly be freed from the contamination of Kali Yuga, and the people of this age will be happy as people were in Satya Yuga, the golden age. O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the Bharat dynasty, during the reign of Lord Ramchandra, the forests, the rivers, the hills and mountains, the states, the 7 islands and the 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. So demons like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, they force the earth to produce. They force the oceans, the mines to produce jewels and whatever production they're getting. This is all forced. And we see, just like the modern demons, they're forcing nature to produce. But they cannot continue. But in Lord Ramchandra's time, by the good government and by the pious nature of the people, the earth naturally desires to produce. When Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear, and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it. Last verse. Lord Ramchandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other women. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior for everyone, especially for householders, in terms of varnashram dharma. Thus, he taught the general public by his personal activities. Sorry, one more. Mother Sita was very submissive, faithful, shy, and chaste, always understanding the attitude of her husband. Thus, by her character and her love and service, she completely attracted the mind of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Pardon me for going over.
Haribo. His Grace Dayananda Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So now we'll request His Grace Srivas Prabhu to come and speak on occasion of Ram Navami. So we are very fortunate today. We have wonderful association of Dayananda Prabhu, Srivas Prabhu, and Kripanidhi Prabhu. Dayananda Prabhu is Prabhupada disciple. Initially original disciples of Prabhupada who assisted Prabhupada in pioneering days. He came in Krishna consciousness way back in 1967, February in San Francisco, and later on he was instrumental in developing Temple of Los Angeles. And he's now working very hard to spread Krishna consciousness among youths. He has written a beautiful book, The Environmental Solutions. Haribol. Also, we have with us His Grace Shivas Prabhu. Shivas Prabhu is disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. He came in Krishna consciousness in 1980 in Africa. Since 1980, he has been actively preaching the